All right. Let's make sure the audio is working as usual. 1 second. All appears to be hunky-dory. Is that something people still say? I think so. But I'm saying it. Then there's nobody on here for me to embarrass myself in front of my old school vocabulary. All right. What's up, DL? Stick I use for his legs does not want to like let go. I'm gonna go back and hand paint this whole edge anyway. So let's just make sure nothing pulled away in the middle of the night. So I'll be tightening all that up. Have it properly sealed off. See, that would have got through right there. Oops, bumped my head on camera. Oh man, I'm on my last couple days of work. That's what's good. Getting ready to be off for 2 weeks. 2 weeks of holiday fun and hopefully working on this quarter scale Thanos I have printed. But not quite quarter scale because obviously he would be gigantic. But it's still going to be really big. It's got to be. I can't venture to guess what the final height is going to be. I didn't measure it, but I know it's big. It's going to be at least 26 inches, 28 inches, maybe. Probably the biggest one I've done. I mean, just the base alone is going to fill up my desk. Like. It's like if I put it together right now, it would be like that big. So I'm very much looking forward to working on that over the holiday break. Hopefully starting this weekend. I got to get this one finished first, obviously. But tonight, if I can just kind of stay on it, I should be able to get through quite a bit tonight. So. We'll see how this plays out. What's up, Mars? I have no idea what you're talking about. What? The Hell Creator Skull? This is Volcamancer? Is that what you're asking me? Who the artist was for this? This is Astarion? Yeah. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that Thanos statue. I did an alternate version. It's the Wicked statue, but it's the alternate version. It's the alternate version of Thanos, where they gave us the the bust as a statue shape, like as a statue option, and I liked it better because it has a little more like it has more. It's not as extended. Like the primary model is he's pointing his sword out, and it's a long ass thing. And so, to do that one at a big size, it would have stuck out of my shelf and just been a pain in the ass to deal with. But the alternative design, he's standing, his sword is like behind him. He's kind of holding it at an angle behind him, and it's a little more compact. He doesn't stick out as much because he's got his fist like clenched up. So that's cool. I haven't seen any. I don't think I've seen anyone do that version of him. So I'm looking forward to working on that. Like I said, hopefully, if I can finish this week, I'd like to be working on that. Next weekend, or this coming weekend, I should say. Friday night, we got a little family outing, but then after that, I should be clear until Christmas Eve. I got plans, obviously, but yeah, I should have some a nice amount of just dedicated time to doing some fun ass model painting. I've been wanting to do this Thanos for a while, and then Thanos is going to kick off my my villain run. 2025, I'm going to start with doing mostly villains. Got a Green Goblin to do. I've got an Electro. I want to round out some of my Spider-Verse villains. Got a really good Clayface and Batman I want to do. So I'm gonna Mr. Freeze. I got a Doctor Doom. I need to do a Darth Vader. Shit, he's like one of the main bad guys. So yeah. Anyway, I got a lot of villains. Got a lot of villains to work on, and I think that's gonna be fun. Yeah, the Wicked sculpts, man. The base on this this Thanos, it's like crazy ornate. There's all kinds of skulls and stuff, but it's literally like I have it printed out, and it's got to be 12 inches across, 14 inches across, maybe. Like, it's a good size. It's ridiculous. It's redonkulous, and they print out. They do have like massively. And they're nicely detailed bases, but they are massive. Like, I did a Cable and Deadpool diorama, and I regretted doing that as the full diorama. I wish I'd done them as two separate statues because it's too big. Like, I can't. It's cool, but I can't put it anywhere. So it's like up on the top, top shelf, it's kind of hanging out. Not complaining. I love that statue. That was the first statue I got the ink. That was the first statue I got a transparency, really, really nice. I used for his shield. Yeah, that was pretty dope. All right, I'm gonna try to avoid painting everywhere, but let's see what we can do now. I'm gonna do. So I found this one after I had already put on this deep blue. I did not mean to do this deep blue on his jacket, but I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do his pant legs in dark sky and see if I like that better. And then what I may do is just go into a dry brush on his torso with the dark sky, just to kind of shift the color a little bit without having to completely repaint it, because I like the darkness in there. And the little blue in there is kind of nice too, but according to the source material, it should be a little purpley, or it should be a little darker. So I'm gonna see what this dark sky is gonna do. Yeah, I want to do the new Deadpool and Wolverine combo as well. But I'm gonna do them all as separate statues. So I'm gonna do Deadpool, Lady Deadpool, and Wolverine all in one pack. Kind of package. After I run through a couple villains, but Thanos is going to take me a long time to paint. I'm not even gonna lie, that one is gonna take a minute. Because I'm gonna also do LEDs in his, in the gauntlet. It's the Stark, nano gauntlet with the Infinity Stones in it. So I'm printing it in transparent. Then I'm gonna tint the stones and drop in an LED. But I also want to put in a magnetic induction switch, so I can either. Well, I'll have to wait to see what I get there when I get there. But basically, I want to have a little detachable part, like maybe one of the skulls, and put a magnet in it, and then put the magnetic induction switch there. And then whenever you want to turn the fist on, you want to light it up, you just drop the piece, it magnetically sticks to the base, and then it turns the light on. So yeah, that's going to be my next project after this one. Yeah, dude, painting yellow is a bitch. If you watch my video on Rogue, how I did my Rogue statue, I do a really good thing. I covered how to do some pink and how to color shift the yellow. But yeah, painting yellow is the worst. It does rank up there. Anything you have to base coat white first, unless you can just airbrush it and hose it down, it's a pain in the ass. Like if you're working on an area that has to be brush coated or brush painted, and you have to first brush paint it yellow or white before you do the yellow, yeah, those are not fun. All right, I think I'm safe. I'm gonna go ahead and go in here with this dark sky. But yeah, check out my Rogue video. I think I even put it one of the chapter markers for painting the yellow. Now it's not my technique. It's I saw it on Ground Affected. Oh, come here, buddy. But I did credit him on the video. I'm not a douche, but yeah, it's a really good technique. So I highly recommend checking that out. It's super easy to do too. Just be aware how your shades of pink and the saturation of your pink will affect, obviously that's the shadow part of the yellow. I'm just rambling right now, so I'm gonna spray this dark sky. Spray this dark sky into these paints. Yeah, this was the color I was intending to do the whole body, but or the whole torso with the jacket, but I didn't find it in my first pass. I grabbed the other one by mistake. Trying to keep a running mental list of all your paints is a pain in the butt. All right, dark sky. Let's see what you got. The spots where I had the blue, I'm gonna have to black all this out first. Dang it. All right, yeah, see the spots where I oversprayed the blue from before? Doesn't matter how much of this I put on there, it's not gonna match. Like it's just doing a taper, which is, that's no bueno. So we're gonna let this dry. We're gonna clean out this airbrush. I'm gonna spray some black on there first. Yeah, I used the Wicked Pink from Vallejo. And that's it's not as it's not as saturated as an ink, I think. or it's just not as saturated as the squid pink, I guess. This blue is always so hard to clean out. This doesn't have to be totally clean, but let's try on a little gloss black. Where you at? Let's see. I want gloss or do I want matte? No, I want gloss. Which of these is almost empty? It's a new one. All right, one more try. This time, Vallejo Gloss Black. I gotta recoat those leather chaps before I put on the dark sky. All the filigree on his pants. I want to make sure I get down in there. I'm kind of over painting it just a little bit. There we go. Let that dry. Then we can go in with the blue again. But first, quick airbrush cleaning. I need to have a little, I don't know, some hold music or something to play while I'm cleaning my airbrush. You know what? I bet there's a shortcut for that somewhere. In my little software here somewhere. I'm gonna check on that. Like to set up some like little message plates that I can toggle on and off. All right, sorry, I'm back. Am I gonna panel line wash the filigree pattern in the pants? Probably. Maybe. No, it's too fine. No, if I tried to do that, it would look muddy. It would look muddy. You need to let it dry though before I start putting that blue on there. So let's go do something else. How about we work on some rocks? That boring ass rock right there is bothering me. Sorry, just checking out something real quick. Oh, what am I doing? Forget about that. All right, paper towel. I'm going to need I want a pretty tight dry brush for this first part. I think I'm going to go with this Army Painter. It's still big enough to give me some coverage, but tight enough. I don't want to use my big loose one just yet. I have painted many a boring ass rock. Those guys out of the way. All right. What do I need? Let's get a paint towel. I don't think I need, well, I will need that later. Doesn't need to be hanging out on my desk. That is not a hanging out spot. All right. That's what I based it with, and then I used some wash. So now I'm going to go in here with this ash gray and just kind of give the rocks a little bit more of a, or I guess they're stone. I guess they're like stone tiles. I'm gonna give them more of a ashen color, ash gray color. A little more like rocks. I like to wet my my bristles. It just helps with the brush releasing the paint, so it doesn't look so powdery. Then I think I'll probably go in here with some other washes and stuff. Just, you know, give it a little more character. Sorry, I'm sitting a little farther back from my desk than I usually do. And I'll go back and hit the top edges with some deck tan just to give them a little bit more of a warm kind of highlight area just on the edges. I don't want to make this too crazy because it's just you know, it's supposed to be a museum base, so it's supposed to be pretty simple. I don't know who Sergio Calvo is. I will look that up later. Heavy spot. Yeah, it's actually pretty decent, just like this. Gonna make them better though. All right. Oh, okay. Interesting. Get my dry brush nice and clean again. All right. So now I'm going to take a little bit of some blue wash, I think. Do I have any browns? I got a sepia. This is dark tone. I guess it's like a dark green, like a greenish. I want it to look moldy. Gray. Green. Another brown. Got an umber, but it's almost out. Well, might as well use it. Flesh wash. I don't know what the heck that is. Sounds gross. All right. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I think I'm gonna forego the blue wash and just go with some sepia, some umber. Do I have a red? You have a red. That might be better. I'm gonna go with that. The red's gonna be too red. I don't want that. I'm just gonna kind of randomly drop this around and insert some spots. Dabble it in there. Kind of just wanted to stain the rocks a little bit, you know, just so they're a little uneven. So I'll do the same with some of this flesh wash. Sounds gross, but just a little bit of warm it up a little bit of reds in there. One right there. A little bit right there. Paint all down in there anyway. Good. And lastly, we're going to go with the sepia. There, 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 and a little bit right there. Spot on the end here. Don't forget the ends. And then after this is dry, I'm going to seal it and then go in with some deck tan and just hit the edges a little bit just to scuff them up. Deck tan might be too harsh. I might be too white. I might go with ash gray instead. That's a little bit much right there. I want it to pool a little bit, not too much. There we go. Oh, here talking while I'm muted. I was just saying, I think I'm happy with how those stepping stones turned out. Looks like there's some serious business happened on those rocks. I'm gonna, once that's dry, I'm gonna do one more dry brush of some either ash gray or some deck tan. Just give them just to touch the edges, give them a little more of a rock, stony kind of look. Blend in the colors a little bit. And then I gotta paint that middle tile area. It has a pattern on it. I may just do my own pattern because I'll use the same colors, but I may just do my own pattern because like I don't want to be painting tiny little tiles all night. Thanks, Mars. So yeah, I don't want to be painting tiles all night. So while that is drying, let's go back to the airbrush box and paint those legs. Oh, towel here. All right, now that the legs are black, it will take this Army Painter Dark Sky much better. It will actually work this time. way too high. It is. I could feel it coming out of the gun super fast. I was like, what's going on? Oh, we're all right. There we go. Right. I did not. Not this particular one, no. The colors on here, these blues are so dark. I prefer to add my lighting effects after I get everything painted. Like once this is dried, I'll take all the masking off and I'll give it a varnish. I'll seal it, and then I'm gonna go in and start laying in shadows and stuff. On yeah, I just zenithals on these darker colors don't tend to not work for me for some reason. So that is still wet. I think I can start brush painting now. But of course, first I have to clean this airbrush. Blue is being stubborn. right. Knocking it out. Get my towel. No, it was just a regular army painter. I just dilute it with the water. There are paints that, like, depending on what it is, like the anything with like flake in it, like anything that's shiny or silvery, I use airbrush thinner to dilute it down rather than water, because water tends to make those little flakes like bunch together, and then so you end up with big splotches of shiny spots, instead of it being an evenly distributed flake. So the alcohol based airbrush cleaner or airbrush thinner, that will kind of thin it out. Or you could use alcohol too, anything that's just not water, for flaky stuff. But for regular, these regular paints, they're water based, so as long as you dilute them down, they should go. Make sure you're spraying it through at the recommended pressure. You may be too low of pressure if it's gunking up, if it's also make sure your needle, like if your needle is bent or has a little spot on it, it'll collect paint real quick. So it may not be your paints, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. What am I gonna do? Let's paint some boots. Got a leather brown, I got a brown fur. I want to do a leather brown around the rim, and then the brown fur on the heel. Let's just start with that. That sounds fun. Wait, is that what I want to do? I have a dark brown. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a leather brown, and then I'm just going to wash it with some umber or something for the heel. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, if your needle's bent, there's nothing. You just got to get a new needle. It's the only thing that's going to fix your problem. Yeah, you definitely gotta keep it nice and watered down for sure. What's up, Frank? Do you think the rogue yellow used would be a good choice to paint a minion? Yeah, that would be an excellent color. That'd be I believe it was demonic yellow. I think was the yellow I used. Yeah, I think that was, yeah, it'll be nice and bright, Painting yellows is not fun. I would say painting yellow and painting red are my least favorite things to do, because it's just so dependent on the white base coat underneath it. Like if you don't have a nice white base coat underneath it, you might as well just forget about it. And so yeah, that's definitely one of those colors where, you know, you gotta be willing to put forth the effort, because it's gonna be multiple coats over and over and over and over and over. So many coats. Gotta do the white coat, so many coats. And the yellow usually goes on a one coat, but the but reds are particularly sons of bitches. Lay down. All reds. This is too watery. It's way too watery. You can see it pooling. Washing that anyway, though, so be a little messed up. All right, I like to test my paint in kind of an inconspicuous spot, so I can see what I'm going to be working with. Did I shake this? I'm pretty sure I shook it. Yeah, and doing the yeah, my first encounter with yellow was doing a flash piece, and the yellow on him is terrible. Thank God it's not a whole lot. He's mostly red, but I also messed up the red too, so it was a all around. It was just not a good statue. But yeah, yellows are tough. But that pink, doing the pink trick, you know, for the shading, man, that really changed how I'm thinking about doing yellows, you know, from here on out, because that's just way, way, way easier and way more effective than trying to do it any other method. Even the yellow I did on my Cyclops, it's just still not as good. Let's get that stick out of the way there. Almost perfect. Got a little bit of water in my brush, but that's almost perfect viscosity. It's funny because every pigment like mixes differently. You know what I'm saying? Like they take water differently. They flow off the brush differently. I don't know if it has to do with like sizes of the pigments, or like what gives the pigments their color. There's something chemically different about, especially like light colors versus dark colors. I'm not smart enough to know what that is yet. I'm gonna figure that shit out one day. I don't know how that information will ever be useful, but I'm sure I'll think of something. I'm also going in here like super loaded this brush. Oh, all right. That's good. That's a good tip. Thanks. Thanks, Mars. I don't think I have gold brown, but I'll look into that. It's way too big. What am I doing? It is. Well, this square brush is fucked up. I didn't notice it until it started cranking all these little air bubbles. This might have to go in the garbage. Why is my finger wet? What is going on tonight? Just slopping stuff everywhere. I'm usually not this, I don't know, discombobulated. Water coming from somewhere. I think it's up in the shaft. Yeah, water up in the shaft of this brush because the viscosity keeps changing on me. Go back around for that. That's interesting. I mean, the AI is not bad. I mean, it's not wrong. It's pretty much it. Yeah, but what Mars is saying is true too. The best way to experience is to just mess it up and try something else. Get a feel for it. Just paint. But as far as the technique described by that AI, I mean, it's pretty spot on. It's weird too because with the yellow technique, what I found out with the pink is that once you put the pink on and you start putting yellow on top of it, no matter how much yellow you put on top of it, it's not going to change. Like, it's not going to change the undertone. I mean, I guess maybe I just stopped after 3 or 4 coats, but maybe I guess if you put 100 on there or something, maybe if you went nuts, you could shift it. But let's just it makes it seem a little more like foolproof too, which is nice. Like, you can't accidentally do one piece differently than another piece. Like, the continuity between it is really nice. You really got to try hard. I'm not getting worried about painting the bottoms of those. That was ridiculous. Yeah, I would say that try different pinks, because I tried I think 2 or 3 different pinks before I settled on Wicked Pink for my yellow. So yeah, that's a good point. Try different ones because they're going to have different saturations. All right, it should be dry now. Let's clean this off and see what I got. Oh, those rocks look nice. Nice and grungy, but not like moldy. I hate moldy rocks. Now, this is a weird color combo for me, but I was looking at the reference material, and he's got like bright blue boots, or at least this part of his boots, and then his bottoms are these kind of blue gray. It's kind of bluish gray color. I'm going to wash over all this once I get the lines tightened up, and the wash will help unify it. Yeah, I got to tighten up the edges a little, just a smidge. Oh, hey, and one more thing. Use little plastic spoons for your testing, Frank. Where's my... Yeah, check this out. Use if I used to organize them and actually mark them pretty well, but like this is like pearl green, and so yeah, it's like I can, once you start using these little spoons to to test different patterns and stuff. Did I keep the pink? It was a little messed. It was like really crazily done because I did it in I tested a whole bunch. I was running out of spoons, so I tested. I don't think I kept them. Huh. I'm looking for my rogue yellow spoon, but I don't think I kept it. Lame. Figures, right? As soon as you need something. Oh, that's a nice red. Chrome and pearl. Nice. Anyway, yeah, spoon testing. It's cheap, it's fast. You just base coat your spoons, with whatever you base coat your model in, and then paint it like you paint anything else. And you can even varnish over it to see how different varnishes are going to look. And it's just a really cheap, easy way to, test colors. Hey, what's up, Art? No, we're just chit chatting. Giving Frank some gold. This is the kind of stuff that, like, when I was a beginner, I wish somebody would have told me. Like, these are the little things that you just discover along the way, and it's cool because that's what I wanted this channel. That's what I wanted my channel to be about. Is just like us helping each other out, and learning stuff. Because I'm still learning stuff. Shit, I'm not an expert by any means, but yeah, I really wanted to just keep this free and open to painters, modelers of all levels and experience, and just have a little community, have a little art house. That's funny, Mars. I do also keep like misprints. Like, I got a couple sitting on my shelf. I go ahead and cure them anyway, and I mean, you got to cure everything anyway. So if usually there's something broken, I got to reprint it. So I'll hold on to it, and sometimes I'll use those for tests. If I need to test like against a texture versus, I mean, your spoons obviously are going to be super slick. So if you need to test against a texture, then I'll use some misprint that I have, if I'm lucky enough to have a print with a texture at the time. Ugh, can't get this blast attack out of these little crevices in his pants. There it goes. Slightly darker blue than his jacket. I'm gonna leave everything the way I have it. My child just informed me that dinner is ready, so I am getting kind of hungry, but I also want to keep working on this. I haven't decided what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to keep working. I can't get all clad stuff where I am. I have heard that all clad makes a good putty, but I'm not gonna pay to have it imported. I got some chrome, some airbrush chrome from Green Stuff World, and I had to have it shipped. I think it just came from some hobby shop in Spain, and because I just couldn't get it, here in the States. It's really nice though, but not worth the cost of having it shipped in. Alright, I'll have to check that out. Okay, Michigan. Alright, Michigan Toy Soldier. Huh, I haven't heard of that place, but I'll check that out. I'm noticing some residue being left behind because on this tape, because I'm pulling at some weird angles, so I'm trying to adjust my approach here. I could never, like, I know FDM printers have come a long way since last time I used one, but the layer lines in FDM printing, man, just really bum me out. Like the amount of post-production work it takes to get, you know, the quality of smoothness that resin gives, like the amount of post-process, I couldn't do it. Like, I think I owned an FDM printer for maybe 3 months before I was ready to be done with it. And then after I switched over to resin, it was just, that was it. Yeah, this wide, I use this pinstriper tape. It's great stuff. This wide, that's the biggest version of it that I have, and it I don't know, the adhesive seems to be really weird. Like it left some adhesive behind on the model here, so I'm gonna try to, if I can't clean it up. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. I was doing this wrong. All right, there we go. That works. Yeah, there's a little bit of adhesive from the tape still on here. That's weird. It's never done that before. I may have taped. I should have let that varnish completely dry. I don't think I let it completely cure. Good enough. All right, that's not too bad. I don't hate that. And then, yeah, once I get some wash on it, it's gonna look tight. And then I gotta go in and paint the little straps. Actually, I should probably paint the straps and then do the washes last. I gotta paint the inside edges of that too. So that'll be my next stop. Actually, speaking of washes, a little wash on these little boots. The umber, sepia. I don't think sepia is gonna be dark enough. Let's go with the umber. I don't think this is going to be dark enough either. No, this does not strike me as dark enough. Yeah, I mean, I just printed out this Thanos base in resin at the maximum size I could print it. It's divided into quarters, and it's probably, I don't know, 14, 16 inches in diameter. It was the biggest base I've ever printed. And so, I mean, while yes, there is a little bit of a restriction, in resin printing for big pieces. I mean, I think FDM printers are, more useful for like life size stuff, like if you're doing like helmets or something, or like cosplay. Like I could see FDM printing being super handy in that instance. But for model painting, I don't know. I don't think you can beat resin. I've seen some stuff come out of FDM printers like super super freaking smooth now lately. I will say that. I don't know what printer it was, but yeah, it's better. Just a subtle little color change. Yeah, that sepia did nothing. It's funny. Resin gel printers? Huh. No, I have not. I don't know if I want a vat full of toxic goo in my house, though. I mean, I guess technically I already have a vat of toxic goo in my house, but. Huh. All right. Well, good. Right on, Art. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I love the Anycubic plant-based stuff. Like, one of my faves. All right. A little dry brush of do I want to do deck tan? Deck tan might be too much. Let's go ash gray. That would be nice, like not having to deal with supports and stuff. And yeah, like not gonna lie, that would be pretty. That might be worth changing over. If it gets to once it gets to a point where it's like a, you know, not a crazy expenditure, I will look into that. Because you know how everything is at first, right? Like all the new tech is going to be like super expensive. I remember when 3D printers first started coming out, they were super expensive, and now they're, you know, relatively cheap. I mean, all things considered. So yeah, I'll wait till they work out all the kinks and the price comes down. But that would be pretty dope to not have to deal with support divots, sanding, and what have you, or worry about orientation. Like that would be nice. Don't tease me. Don't tease me, Mars. It sounds too good. So my top of my thing came apart. Move that back in there. Well, on second thought, that's just going to blend. That's going to blend in too much. Let's go deck tan. Oh, I mean, I use IPA for washing, for sure. The actual resin smell is not bad. I think I think it is less than standard resin. Yeah, I mean, and you still gotta be properly ventilated though. I mean, there's still VOCs in the air even if you're not detecting them. So just FYI, you still need to make sure you're properly ventilated. But yes, it is much less. I mean, if you drop it from a good height, it's gonna shatter. If you drop it, you know, a reasonable height, it's not. I wouldn't classify it as brittle. Any more than any other resin, you know. I mean, except for like the rubberized stuff, you know, the ABS or whatever. Like but that stuff is specifically designed to be, you know, super flexible. So I don't really count that. But I mean, amongst standard hardened, you know, resins, I think the plant-based stuff is equal to the regular anyway. Just lightly kissing the corners of these little stones here. I'm not even looking at the chat, guys. I'm just down here dry brushing, so sorry about that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right. There comes a point in the dry brushing process where the brush just becomes perfectly saturated at the point where it's like releasing paint with just the right amount of pressure, but not over releasing it. And I just entered into that very small window of a dry brush, because once it starts getting wet, like once it starts getting saturated, it starts flowing out differently. And before it gets saturated enough, it flows out differently. But there's a moment right when your airbrush is right in between those two stages, or your dry brush is right in between those two stages, and that is when it's absolutely perfect. That looks really nice. Done with that. I wasn't in the dry brush zone. Don't shame me. Yeah, I do 2 millimeter thicknesses on the bases, like on the base pieces. I do 1.8 millimeters on like everything else, body parts, and that's the wall thicknesses that I use. Any thinner than 1.8 though, and your supports will start to peel away at the surface and break it. I know that from experience. At least the way I do supporting, I probably over support my models, but I would rather over support them and have to deal with, the consequences of that than have a bunch of failed ass prints. And so I don't think I have too many. I have gotten better about how I support, like where I put my supports now. So usually the only parts that get fucked up are, you always have to sacrifice one side of your print. That's just a given. You have to sacrifice one side. I call that the sacrifice to the print gods. Sometimes that sacrifice can be small. Sometimes it has to be large. But it always has to be done. And when you get smart about it, you can, figure out where to put your support so that you're not distorting connections like between arms and legs, but at the same time being able to sand those down and not lose detail. It's a fun, it was a fun part of the process, learning how to do supports properly. Ooh. All right, that's what the the source material. That's what the source material looks like. So I'm gonna go with that. 2.5 is thick. Like that's hefty. I reduced it down from that because, like, especially for anything I'm putting LEDs in where I gotta like drill through, I don't want to shatter it. So like or have to like, or just drilling through like thick plastic. Sometimes it can you really end up putting a lot of pressure on it. All right. Oh god, I hate these. I need to get rid of these little black sticks. They are useless. All right, let's do the trim work on this bad boy. I think that was a dark sky around the rim and around those bands. Then I can seal it and wash it. Now he's got all these little, this like embroidered edge. I need to check my reference material. I think that embroidered edge is supposed to be color. That'll just be the lightest dry brush known to man. It's so hot in my studio tonight. Weird, we're having a really weird, like, warm snap in the middle of winter here. It was like 60 degrees outside. It's been cold leading up to this. And climate change is no joke. I'm gonna check that temperature. I'll be right back. Yeah, thermostat, it says 74 degrees in here. Oh, the heater's not even running. Oh, it sucks. Sweaty. All right. Oh, but you know what? Well, let me see. Maybe the brush application varies from the airbrush application. When I tried to airbrush over the blue, it didn't change. Yeah, it's gonna be too bright. Damn it. Alright, I have to black those out. I guess that would go for the trim area too. So that is what we're going to do. Here's my gloss black. A model of a 2B pre-supported pieces but not hollowed. Yeah, I would see if you could just not do the pre-supported ones and go just like find the non-supported and just do the full process yourself. That's the only way I like to do it anyway. I don't like pre-supported files just because, you know, most of the time they're all right, but very rarely. Like actually this set I did as a pre-support, and it all fit on one plate because it's super tiny. So maybe it's just a complexity thing, but some seem to work better than others. I typically like to take my non-supported files, non-supported STLs, and run them through Lychee and do the hollowing and do the supports and do all that stuff myself. That way I know it's done the way my printer will best, you know, handle them. Yeah, pre-supports in Lychee very rarely work anyway. They always seem to come in with errors. Now, like I said, this file actually did work, but it's only because they pre-supported files were Lychee files. So, you know, because they were pre-supported Lychee files, it was easier to Lychee on my end accepted them, you know, easier. Um, I don't play either. This is a gift for my son. So I did run through it. I did play it with him, but it's not my speed. It's a RPG kind of. It's actually like a turn based. It's very, you know, I guess it's based on Dungeons and Dragons, so it would make sense, right? I'm a big head in the camera. Oh yeah, hey, thanks. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Art. I'm concentrating real hard at keeping these lines straight. I've got a card game. You guys want to play a card game? You don't actually need cards. I tried this last night. It was kind of fun. So it's this dumb questions to ask your friends. We're having a little bit of a cocktail party coming up in the holidays, and looking for something to keep the conversation lively. So we have categories, animals. See, now this is players, and I don't think we can do these because, yeah, which player? Like, this is for people that know each other, so we're going to skip players. We got animals, we got numbers, we got food, we got objects, we got famous people. And so, for instance, animals. Name an animal that you find so icky that even the thought of touching it gives you the creeps. I don't know. I grew up out in a farm in North Carolina, so I mean, I've dealt with some pretty nasty stuff. I can't think of an animal that would be so gross that it would like freak me out. I really can't. I'm gonna think really hard about it, but I mean, slugs, spiders, traditional kind of like creepy stuff. Like, man, it doesn't really bother me. Maybe like a sea cucumber is pretty gross. I encountered one of those scuba diving, and yeah, that was pretty nasty. Just slimy and weird. But I don't know if it was the cucumber or if it was just the fact that I wasn't expecting to be, touched down at the bottom of the sea. Snakes, really? Okay, all right. Just like any snake, or just like what if I handed you a snake and be like, look, it's not poisonous, it's not gonna hurt you, it's super tiny. Would you still freak out, or is it just like a rational fear of like king cobras? Because that shit makes perfect sense. I ain't fucking with a king cobra, but a little something a little non venomous. I could do that. I think trying to paint over the black trim with blue is just going to be a waste of time. That looks pretty solid, so getting there a little bit more. Scorpions. See, that's the scorpions is like a rational one though. I'm looking for just like weird. Bot fly. Oh yeah, bot flies are gross. Yeah. Oh, I gotta paint black on those band things. Dang it. All right, not quite done yet. All right, let's try another card. Let's try numbers. How many times did you wash your hands yesterday? All right, you nasty bastards. I wash my hands a lot because I'm doing this stuff a lot. So even like during the day and stuff. So 7 to 10 times a day, maybe. Like I said, I wash my hands a lot. Not like OCD kind of, but I don't know what the average is. Not for non-resin printers. The normal humans, the normies. Oh, that's interesting. If my hand was a little more steady, I could do this. I could cover these bands in one stroke, but I can't keep the pressure steady enough. Getting old. Hands are starting to shake. That, and I'm not breathing properly right now. I've had paint caps like fall apart. Like I've had them break at the top, where basically they become useless as a paint cap, and then I have to figure out something. But the only paint cap mishaps I can think of. And usually once I empty a bottle, I'll recycle that cap for any defective caps that I may have. There we go. Get kind of warmed up a little bit. Got a little bit of overage right there. Go back and touch that up with some dark sky. There we go. I try to control the chaos a little bit. At least in between projects, I like to reset the chaos. Let's put it that way. All right, let's see what else we got here. What's the weirdest food you've ever eaten? Weirdest food you've ever eaten? I've had alligator. That's not that weird. I ate a lot of weird shit in Thailand, but I don't remember what it was called. It's friggin' delicious, though. I'd do it again. Frog's legs? Alright. I told you I grew up in the country, North Carolina. My dad used to take me out frog gigging. Go out in a pond, bullfrogs, shine a flashlight in their face so they don't move, and you stick them with a spear. Those are some good, as you talk about frog legs, man. Bullfrogs, North Carolina bullfrog legs. Those things are like chicken legs, basically. They're like tiny little chicken legs. Kind of tastes like chicken legs too. Now they mention it. Little fishier, a little gamier. But hell yeah. Every now and then I get a craving for some weird country ass food. Like box turtle. Ever had turtle soup? Turtle soup, like old school style. That shit's delicious. Looks like a double amputee. Raw squid. Okay. Yeah. Aw, sea turtles? I can't get comfortable painting these little lines tonight. Every time I get the pressure just right, it wants to, the bristles want to drift. Like I can feel them drift. Luckily, it's enough to correct right before it goes off the rails, but I don't like it. Yeah, no, not judging. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could do a sea turtle. But you know, your karma is your karma, bro. No judge. Oh, I had ostrich. I forgot about that. That was weird. You would think it tastes just like chicken, but it doesn't. I think I need to stop and eat. I think that's why I can't hold my brush straight. I can feel my belly growling. All right, yeah, I need to stop there and refuel. gonna have to do all this again. Gotta paint all these little stripes in with some dark sky. It's not supposed to be black. Well, that's pretty close to black, but it's just a really, really dark blue. That's true. I feel you. I'm not gonna argue with the people that eat that stuff every day. That's how I feel when I'm on vacation. I'm like, you know, it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. Just checking my blues here. I mean, they're really, really close, but just different enough that I kind of like it. Once I get the purples in there and the rest of the colors, and the little gold trim, there's so much little detail in here that, yeah. I like the little shadow I did on the inlay of the red leather. That looks nice. Gives his legs a little more 3D-ness. Alright, gang. I think I'm going to hang it up for the night. It's 8:30. I need to eat something, and I don't know if I'm going to have the juice to get back on. I do need to get this done, though. So I'm going to get some food first, see how I feel. Alright. Have a good evening, and thanks for hanging out with me. And I will catch you on the next stream for sure. You guys have a good night or day, wherever you are.